hope you enjoy this early spring video. We're going to look at the trails, see some tiny leaves just starting to grow, and walk through a tall forest with vernal pools. There will be parking information and maps at the end. Look at this! We have caught the Norway maples in their very short flowering stage. Did you know that maples were flowering trees? These flowers are pollinated by insects and then develop into the double seed pods, often called helicopters. You know, the ones that you can open and stick onto your nose? They are called samaras, and their helicopter-like flight allows them to be dispersed farther in the wind. If you break a leaf stem and it oozes milky white sap, it is a Norway maple. This is the regular green variety, but you can find red versions. These trees are not very popular, though. They were brought to North America hundreds of years ago, and so are not a native species. They can crowd out native plants, so in some areas, people are working to remove Norway maples. So I just got back from the East Coast, where I was visiting some family, including my grandchildren, and I'm so happy that they are nature children. The 2-year-old was out looking for worms and is really quite angry at the robins for eating them. The 6-year-old took me on a bike ride where we went to a creek and did some rock hopping. And the baby is taken out pretty much every day for a walk in nature. What a wonderful way to grow up. I love the look of these spring plants, so green. It is the eastern skunk cabbage, and it smells terrible when the leaves are ripped. It is actually a reddish bulb when it first emerges from the ground, and it's one of the first plants of spring because it can perform thermogenesis. That means it can raise its own temperature and melt the snow around it. The lake here is good for swimming and paddling. There are change rooms and washrooms and picnic shelters that you can reserve. There are 3 short trails that are quite different and interesting in their own way. We have been wandering along the beach trail, and now we're going on to the Morton Trail. I am choosing the inner loop because it goes closer to the ponds. As I was approaching the little pond, I could hear some frogs, but when I got here, they disappeared. There they are, and you'll hear a swamp sparrow too. Here we have another type of maple tree that is flowering. This one is a Manitoba maple, which is sometimes called a box elder. I don't have a sample of the leaves, but they don't look like maple leaves at all, more like poison ivy leaves with 5 to 7 on a stem. It's just wonderful to walk around in the spring. I think these tiny little leaves just starting to grow are kind of like the cuteness of kittens or puppies. I'm going to cut across to follow the road briefly. This will bring me to the 3rd trail, the Captain Kidd Trail. I really like this trail because of all of the scenic ponds and the incredible forest of tall trees. The ponds are a unique type of habitat. They are vernal pools, and the name comes from the Latin word for spring, vernalis. These small ponds are usually not connected to a stream. They fill with water from melting snow and spring rains, and they are often dry by the end of the summer. I just love the look of these vernal pools, especially on a day like today where the surrounding trees are reflected in the water. This is a Carolinian forest, which is very rare in Canada. It only exists in the most southern part of Ontario, and it has an extremely high biodiversity of species. The Carolinian forest is mostly deciduous trees, which are trees that lose their leaves in winter. I have found black cherry, American beech, maples, and yellow birch. But there are also trees you only see in a Carolinian forest, like the sassafras tree. I couldn't find any without the leaves out, though. The red oaks tend to look striped, especially from a distance, and the white oaks are very light, with fine plates. I think they look a bit like a mud puddle that is dried up. Red oak leaves have points on the lobes, and white oaks are rounded. This forest has hickory trees, and I love seeing this one, the shagbark hickory. You can certainly see how it gets its name. I saw quite a few wildflowers growing on the forest floor, and I particularly like seeing these May apples. The fruit is just starting to grow here if you look under the leaves, but it is not an apple, and it is not normally eaten. The trilliums are ready to bloom. People think it's illegal to pick trilliums in Ontario. It's not against the law, but you should not pick them. It can kill the plant and prevent it from coming back next spring. There is a charge for this conservation area. I found the cell service wasn't great, and I had to drive a few minutes down the road to Paris to pay for my parking. I recommend buying your entry from the website before you leave home. Parking is here, but it's not a huge parking lot. If you're going in the summer, I believe you can check on the website to see if it is full. I first walked along the beach, then over to this picnic pavilion. I took the inner Morton Trail, then cut across to the Captain Kidd Trail. This trail is also a loop and comes out at the gate, so you walk partly on the park road.